All right, I have a thumbs up. That means we are live Facebook. Today is our recess meeting of April the 18th. We'll call a meeting to order. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation of Alderman Carver, and then a moment of silence. If you would please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alderman Carver, if you would please.
Yes, ma'am. Let's pray. Father, we just thank you for this glorious spring day, Lord. We thank you for this mayor and the board and the leaders and all the department heads here tonight, Lord. We pray that pray for continued safety in our town, Lord. We thank you for all of your blessings that you give us, Lord. Give us discretion and discernment, Lord, just to do your will tonight and to do it with honesty and fairness, Lord, and kindness. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being with us today, this evening, this afternoon. And we will continue with the remainder of our agenda, which is approval of the official agenda with consented items. We do have one alderman, I should have said this earlier, Alderman Brooks is on the phone, so we will be doing a roll call vote for all actions that we take this evening so that he will be able to be recognized with his answer individually. So first item would be for us to look at any changes to the agenda or consented items. Alderman Carver, any changes?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Alderman Rupp? No? Okay, thank you. Alderman Brooks?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Alderman Beatty?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Alderman Sister? No, ma'am. Vice Mayor Perkins?
Yes, ma'am, Mayor. I would like to offer four separate items for consent this evening, and the items are as follows. Mayor, I'd like to go to Roman numeral 9, Mayor's Business. The first item I'd like to offer is item B, consideration of entering into an agreement with Oktibbeha County for the use of the safe room located at 985 Lynn Lane for recreation-related activities.
Okay. Do I have any objection?
Could I just ask one question?
Alderman Carver, yes, you may.
Is that what somebody asked me today, the field of the question, would that be kind of like the parks and interlocal agreement where anybody could rent that facility out, or would it just be city functions?
For right now, it's intended for city functions associated with recreation, like pickleball in particular. That was the venue that we thought would be most well served, or that was the activity that was most well served by it. It may be volleyball, could probably get some basketball in there, something like that. But that was the intent for it. But it is it's fairly open-ended, so there are opportunities there potentially.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else questions about that particular item? Any objections to putting on consent? Seeing none, we will add item 9B to consent. Your next item, Vice Mayor?
Yes, ma'am, Honorable Mayor. Next item, Roman numeral 9, on the Mayor's Business, item number A, consideration of advertising for a fleet management program service.
Okay. Anyone have any objections to adding the advertisement for fleet program management?
Question.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yes, my question. Is that going to fit all our fleets, or that just mainly for the police department? Because I don't see too many other departments that will, accommodate with what they got and what the fleet they got. But would it also with all of them at the up under that?
That would depend. The police department will be a separate arrangement under that, but the overarching would be to have that as a possibility. But again, the chief has worked with Enterprise, has talked with the chief of both Hattiesburg and Oxford, or just Oxford? Just Oxford at this point in time. So, but he thinks that it is doable, but I think it's just a matter of working out the details of how we would advertise for that and what the results would be once it came back.
Just one thing about utilities and sanitation, and what would they reach from it? Because they don't have those.
Well, sanitation has 10 vehicles, I believe. Utilities has outside of the sanitation trucks. The smaller F-150s or F-250s or whatever. Utilities has a huge number of those basic trucks like F-150s, F-250s, Rams, whatever. So it would fall under those kinds of sizes of vehicles. We're not talking about bucket trucks and that sort of thing. You're talking about those just basic things that you could go to a dealership and make a purchase of.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just on the
All right.
consideration. Thank you.
Yes. Anything else? Anyone else? That one's okay for consent? Okay. Vice Mayor, any others?
Yes, two more, Mayor. Under Mayor's Business, Roman numeral 9, item number C, consideration of an increase in the sanitation fees for trash and rubbish collection and related environmental services.
Okay, any objections to?
Yes.
We have an objection to that, Vice
Okay.
Mayor. Okay. And you said you had one more?
Yes, ma'am. And Mayor, in light of our engineer having sent the information out, it's very informative. I want to commend him for getting that information to us. And in light of that, I'd like to offer Roman numeral 11D under engineering, Roman numeral number 2, consideration of accepting a low bid for the 2023 street improvement project from APAC Contracting in the amount of $4,414,214.50, and authorizing the mayor to execute a construction contract.
Okay, all right, do we have objections to putting that on consent? That information is now posted on our website and available, I think, it's the updated information is available, is that correct? Okay.
This
Yes,
is
Alderman Beatty?
This is the paving project?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I thought we were gonna kind of have a little bit of information on that tonight while we.
Well, if you don't want to put it on consent, then we can certainly do that, or you can put it on consent and Mr. Burnett can give us a quick overview. I think he's prepared to do that.
I'm not gonna object to how the paving stuff, I just thought that before we approve something like that we ought to throw it up on the screen, let our newspaper and let people
Okay.
of interest and
All
take
right.
a look at it.
Well, why don't we just hold it off of consent then, and we'll have a presentation on it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anything else, Vice Mayor?
I yield, Mayor. Nothing
All right,
else. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Vaughn.
No, ma'am, Mayor, thank you.
All right, thank you. That takes us to the need for a motion to include the official agenda with the consented items as modified. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve as amended.
I have a motion from Alderman Rupp. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Carver. If you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Carver,
Yay.
Alderman Rupp,
Yay.
Alderman Brooks,
Yay.
Alderman Beatty,
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins,
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, that is unanimous. Thank you so much. And I will now read the consented agenda items. First, we have a consideration of the minutes of the March 31, 2023 work session of the mayor and the Board of Aldermen of the city of Starkville. Then under mayor's business, added to consent is item A, consideration of advertising for a fleet management program service. B is consideration of entering into an agreement with Oktibbeha County for the use of the safe room located at 985 Lynn Lane and for recreational and related activities. Under department business, item A, airport, we have request approval for applying for the 2024 MDOT multimodal airport grant in the amount of $202,300, including a 5% local match for the design of main ramp expansion and related improvements at George M. Bryan Field. Under engineering, we have item 1, which is consideration of advertising for the Northside Drive Drainage Improvements Project. Now, number 3 is request authorization to advertise for bids for the electrical distribution material only, for the Highway 182 on-corridor improvements project. Under finance and administration, we have number 2, acceptance of the March 2023 financial statements. Under the fire department, we have 1, request permission to issue a commercial burn permit to Parkman Lohman to burn clear debris associated with the construction project located at North Star Industrial Park. G, under human resources, we have number 1, request authorization to hire David Simmons as a sanitation worker in the Sanitation Environmental Services Department. Number 2, request authorization to hire Christopher English as a certified police officer in the Starkville Police Department. 3, request authorization to hire Jessica Heisch as a customer service representative in the Starkville Utilities Department. 4, request authorization to hire Cameron Brickler as a landscape intern in the Starkville Utilities Department. 5, request authorization to hire Brighton Connolly as a ground technician in the Sanitation and Environmental Services Department. And 6 is request authorization to hire Jillian Dutcher as a part-time deputy court clerk in the Municipal Court Department. Under Parks, we have request authorization to advertise for bids for the Needmore Community Center redevelopment project. Under Police, we have item A, request authorization to declare a 2007 Chevrolet Silverado, VIN number 6637, was seized in a narcotics investigation case as surplus and advertised for sale to the highest bidder on govdeals.com. Under Utilities, we have item 1, which is consideration to select Neil Schaefer as the engineer of record for a proposed Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, application to the Mississippi Development Authority, MDA, on behalf of the city of Starkville for the purpose of sewer improvements to an area not currently being served along Henderson and Sand Roads. And number 2 is approval of NISC as a preferred vendor to provide software solutions for the Starkville Utilities and approval for the mayor to execute a final negotiated contract. And that concludes our consent agenda items.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir, pleased to do it. Next, under announcement comments, the only comment I'm going to make this evening is what a fabulous weekend we had with all the people in town. It was extraordinary. We had a huge event out at, the Super Bulldog Weekend was enormous, and I think they had the biggest crowds they've had. We set NCAA records, and we had a concert, so it was really a great weekend in Starkville. I think all the restaurants were full. The stores were happy, so it's one of those really special kinds of weekends in the spring, which we really look forward to. So, no other comments from me at this point. Alderman Carver, anything?
No, ma'am.
Alderman Rupp?
No, ma'am.
Alderman Brooks? Sorry, I'm trying to jump. Alderman Brooks, anything?
Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Beatty?
Mayor, on public hearing stuff on the agenda tonight, can we swap the places of the two public hearings? Have the sanitation ordinance first, and then have the consideration to adopt the tax abatement city thing?
Or you want to make that as a motion?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion to swap the public hearings from the positions that they're currently in. So the first public hearing on the sanitation ordinance would go to the top. The second public hearing, consideration to adopt an ordinance for tax abatements, would go to second on the list. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a second from Alderman Rupp. If you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Carver.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, that will swap our, you'll reflect that, Ms. Harden, please? All right. And let me make my notes here while I'm making. So Alderman Beatty was first, and Alderman Rupp was second, and it was unanimous. All right, thank you very much. Where was I? Alderman Beatty, anything else? Any comments for you? Okay. Alderman Sistrunk. Vice Mayor.
No, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Alderman Vaughn.
Mayor, thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item on our agenda will be citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for anyone to come forward and provide us information that they believe we need to have or that they would just like to say. So we give you 3 minutes, then it's time to buy our city clerk. Mr. Turner, lovely to see you.
Good evening to the mayor and board. My name is Alvin Turner, Ward 7. To the mayor, to the police chief, to the fire chief, to sanitation. The citizens, we have a good reputation of people have second thoughts of coming to Starkville to do wrong, but we're glad that we have the cameras to try and help us stay safe. But we have a problem with the juveniles. The juveniles feel that they can do whatever, whenever, and they are untouchable. We've wondering, had we been able to put the situation back in place with having 2 places for the juveniles to go when they feel that they're untouchable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Anyone else? Anyone else wishing to speak to the board under citizens' comments? Anyone else?
Can I make one comment? to
Mr.
add to
Carver,
that?
Alderman Carver?
I think everybody knows that nationwide there's some issues going on with juveniles right now. And Chief and I were just having this talk, and it seems to be the discussion. As a community, we're still a very safe community. We are a college community. And I don't know, we're just trying to see if it's an influx of social media, if it's a lack of parenting, if it's just a brazen mentality to defund the police or anything like that. But as a board, as a mayor and a board, I know we're definitely behind the police here in Starkville. And as the mayor spoke to earlier to Super Bulldog Weekend, if you understand what it takes to undertake to police basically a town that quadruples or more in size in 48 hours and decreases afterwards, they do a wonderful job, miraculous job. I think it goes all the way back for the time being. These are unprecedented times with youth brandishing handguns and things such as that. But I think Alderman Vaughn said it best: if you see something, say something, and not to be afraid to say if you see, congregation of crowd or things that I think the good Lord gives you discernment if you know that the situation's not right and it might be looking dangerous or something, just to say something to. I field calls all the time from people, and I'll forward them on to the police department. But I would say this community as a whole is extremely safe. It's typically youth. I would say most of the time it's youth that make one bad decision, and it's sad at times to see them ruin a life. That just for an instance, when I was growing up, and I think most everybody on this board, if you got in an argument with somebody, went out in the backyard and you tussled over it, and you're friends the next day. And I just want to see those days return. That you're just not afraid of some of the consequences, a lifetime of consequences. I've had these discussions with a lot of youth in our church. You know, if you get upset, call somebody. Don't sit there and get into a situation and grab a gun that could change. I agree wholeheartedly with you. It's something going on. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think anybody has the answer right now. But back to that, if you see something, say something. Don't be afraid. We've got a great police force that will come out and help solve the problem. So I just want to, been on my heart all day. So I don't know. How you? Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Carter. All right, Alderman Vaughn.
Can I get Edward, come up front. Got some citizens from Henderson Road and Sand Road, and explain what our CBD grant consists of.
Mr. Kemp, he's asking for you to explain the Sand Road and the Henderson Road. That would probably, it's a little more complex. Would you like him to do it offline to them, sit down with them and have a longer discussion?
Actually, Mr. Thurman, what y'all prefer? We just talk Sand Road. Henderson on the side. We ought to talk about we did in the city limits and how long the treatment plant has been out on Sand Road. And we deal with them hundreds of yards on the plant. We still not connected to the central sewer system. We have no city water. The only reason we got city lights is because they stole Polk County bars from the city managers. We just want to city of Starkville is a beautiful city. Steady growing if we want to be part of it.
Yes, sir. I think a sit down with you guys would be a really good thing for us to do. We can go over all that. So Mr. Kemp is absolutely delighted to sit down with you and have those conversations. I think it's a little bit longer conversation just to show you what all we're doing and what we're planning on doing, if that would be acceptable to you.
So what's the next time you were addressing on the agenda? So we go to all of it.
Well, what we did on the agenda here was to approve moving forward with a plan. So that's something that Mr. Kemp could provide you with as well to show you the process and what it takes to get there. Okay. Would you make, Mr. Kemp, would you make an appointment with those folks while they're all gathered together?
And
Alderman Sistrom?
could I say that this is something that we've talked about for quite a while in terms of applying for and getting a CDBG grant for sewer services for that area. We've taken the first steps, and tonight we approved authorizing the hiring of an engineer to design the project. Mr. Kemp will be able to talk you through how long it's likely to take to get from an engineering job to completed services. The other piece of it, the water, is certificated to Talking Warrior, and unless they give us that certificate, we're not allowed to provide those services. Because there wasn't a sewer service that was certificated out there, we are able to move forward. But it's not a quick fix, but we're going through the process right now.
I tell you what, if you're going to speak to us, you're going to need to come forward, but we are outside of that because our citizens' comments would have been the time to do that. But come forward, if you would, please.
I thought you just going to let me talk to you for a minute. How long are you going to let us talk?
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
We'll have you, as a
Okay,
citizen's
okay,
comments, you have 3
well,
minutes.
we basically have already touched on the reason why we're here.
Yes, sir.
It's because the Sand Road community has the city traffic traveling that road every day with the buses, and the road is impassable. Everybody live on that road, no doubt got a problem with their cars with alignments. And it's not just that. The road is muddy. You got potholes in the middle of the road, and you can't pass nobody on the road without having to stop. And it's not right. Taxpaying citizens to have to put up with this type of situation in the 20th century. You know, that community is annexed into the city, part of the city. Starkville's a beautiful city, fast-growing, and we would like to be part of the fast-growing beauty that this city is turning into. But it seems as if we have been forgotten. And I got friends that tell me it's for this reason or for that reason. If I would move into this community, things would change. And I don't want to go into what my friends have told me about it, but, you know, we're taxpaying citizens, and we just look for, really, to have better conditions than what we're living in. We're about, like I said, 100 yards from the treatment plant, and we've been sitting there for 30 years plus, and nobody's recognized to put us on the city sewer system. And Alderman Sistrunk just spoke about the problem with the water system. Yeah, we know it's the problem with talking water, and that's why we want to get off of talking water and get on the city. We're paying city taxes, and we just wonder why we're not being respected or treated like other taxpaying citizens, like maybe in Huntington Park, Sherwood Forest, or maybe Green Oaks. That's all we're asking for. We're paying the same taxes like everybody else.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
If you will, Mr. Kemp will make an appointment, and I'll be happy to sit in with you, and we'll go over all that.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
Can I get a name for the record?
Yes, I'm sorry, could we get your name? I apologize, I should have said that. Could we get your,
name is Thurman Ward.
Thurman Ward?
Thurman Ward Senior.
Thurman Ward Senior.
Yes.
Ms. Harden, you have that? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor, may I ask a question that goes along with this?
Alderman
To
Bailey.
Mr. Kemp. Mr. Kemp, what have been the issues heretofore in getting sanitary or getting sewer service to the residents in this area? Is the fact that there's not enough, have not been enough homes to justify, if it not being a certificated area issue is not an issue, because there's nobody out there with certificated sewer. What would it have been, just a cost because of the number of homes and they're being spread out? Is it because they need the sewage going to be pumped from most of where the residences are? What would have been the cost and holdback so far on that?
I really, to be honest with you, Alderman Beatty, don't know the history. I do know that we are working through our CDBG project plan. We just completed Babylon Road, which had been on the list for a long time. The next is Henderson Road, and we're trying to incorporate Sand Road into that same project because it all is tributary to that same location. So the next step is trying to evaluate what that looks like and pursue CDBG funding to help assist with that project cost.
Is there any territory that could be conceded to Talking Water in exchange for us taking that into our system? I know that, and I've had some past experiences where water systems exchanged, and y'all probably have before, exchanged territory to be able for us to be able to get something that's more contiguous to our, works more logically for us. They may not want to. They don't have to. If it's certificated to them, they can always keep it. But address that, what you think about
Yeah,
that.
their certificated area of boundary is Sand Road. So Starkville provides service to the east side of the road. East side of the road, and then Talking Warrior would be the west side of the road.
Do they have their own system, or do we sell them water? I know
They
we-
have their own system.
own
We have
system.
paralleling lines down there. And we have been in contact with Talking Warrior as recently as the last several months to try to offer to take in the water customers that they have that are within the city limits, and they were not receptive to that.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes,
All right, thank you. Alderman Vaughn.
How long those were annexed in? When was Henderson and
I don't know, I wasn't here for that. I'm guessing 1998 or before. Vice Mayor Perkins, do you recall?
Yes, ma'am. That entire area came in 1998, the latter part,
1998?
October, November.
Okay. So, thank you. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Public hearings. So our first public hearing will be is moved to the top, so we've reversed them. Our first public hearing to amend the sanitation ordinance to reflect operations and charges to commercial account and non-account holders. Anyone have any comments about it before I open it as a public hearing? Seeing none, I'll open it as a public hearing. Anyone have any questions, comments regarding either for or against? Now would be the opportunity to do so. This is the first public hearing. We will be having a second one at the next board meeting with consideration at that point in time. Mr. Turner.
Good evening, my name is some citizens, they don't mind paying their share, but they need understanding on why and for what. And sometimes they don't see it until they get the bill, and then they still wondering why and for what.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Anyone else wishing to open it, wish to speak to it as a public hearing? This is about the ordinance change. This is about the ordinance change. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll close it as a public hearing.
Mayor, can we just,
Mr. Beatty?
before we close this, could you divulge information about what the rate increase, how much it's going to entail, how much it's going to be?
That's not germane to this particular item. Can we wait till we get to that item?
I'm sorry.
This one is the ordinance change related to commercial
Oh, I'm
account
sorry.
and non-account holders, okay? All right, thank you. All right, seeing there is
Mr.
no action.
Ward.
Alderman Sistrunk?
Mr. Ward, could you wait 1 second and let me come outside and visit with you in a minute? Thank you.
Okay. All right, we have closed it as a public hearing. There is no action on this particular item. We'll now go to the second public hearing, consideration to adopt an ordinance to allow for tax abatements in the city of Starkville with the central business district and in recognized historic districts. Alderman Sistrunk, you have made a change. You'd like to talk about that, please?
I have two minor changes based on feedback that I've gotten. The first is to clarify that the abatement ends if there is a change of ownership, and language has been added that says, any exemption granted pursuant to the provisions of this ordinance shall automatically and immediately expire if the person, firm, or corporation who was granted the exemption ceases to own the property that is the subject matter of the exemption. So that's just a clarification. And then the other is to change the percentage of the investment that needs to be public-facing improvements from 20% to 15%. That's more in keeping with with projected cost for a redevelopment.
Okay, and that is, let's be clear, that's in section 4.
Section 4.
Right underneath the change that's highlighted in yellow and
Yes.
what's at your places for the board
Yes.
members. So it would go from 20% to 15% of the minimum investment must be spent on public-facing improvements, including but not limited to facade, parking, and landscaping. That's the sentence we're referring to.
Right.
Okay, so that is the ordinance that is in front of you. Discussion.
And may I say one more thing?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
There are 2 pages that are the ordinance for anybody who's looked at the e-packet. There's 2 pages that are the ordinance. And then there's some supplemental information that we're not voting on tonight. We're only voting on the ordinance. The supplemental information are the state statutes that authorize this, a potential policy if we ever want to develop a policy. It's a sample policy that we might use, and then a list of other entities who have this in place and their application process. So there are links there.
All right. Discussion. Alderman Carver.
How many years are the abatements for?
It depends. If it's under one of the provisions, it's 7 years. Under the other, it's 10.
And the only issue I have with it, I think it's just another tool in our toolbox, but it's kind of broad. I mean, historic district and central business district, did we ever define that or fence it off?
They're defined in the ordinance, and I have had feedback that it was appreciated to keep it as broadly defined as possible.
What was the reasoning for that? Just
Well, the idea being that we have places all over town that could benefit from redevelopment or development, and so by making it as broad as possible, you just put this on the table as a tool throughout the city and not in one specific area.
what all historic districts do we have? We got I mean, is that Greensboro,
Greensboro
Newmore?
and Nash Street.
And
are-
downtown is
and-
also
and-
considered.
And downtown are recognized as historic districts.
Are you?
Anything else? Alderman Rupp? Anything? All right. Alderman Brooks?
Yes, ma'am, just a couple things. I applaud on the system for lowering that minimum truck facing. I've actually looked at some numbers on some properties I've been working with, and 20% might have been just a tad bit of a high bar to me on a couple of ones that I'm personally familiar with. So I appreciate her doing that. The 50% of the current appraised value of the building, or $500,000, which is greater. I think that's a good floor. I do see where we may have a little bit of issue with the fact that they spend $500,000 or they spend $750,000, but it doesn't necessarily meet the when it's reappraised by the county. Typically they don't they don't meet the cost that we spend, which is good for everybody to pay taxes. So there may be a little bit of an issue there, but I think that if I understand, in order to situate can say me out on this. I mean, if the applicant proves to us or certifies to us that they're spending $500,000, even if the reappraisal only raises the value to $300,000. Well, to me, they'll get the abatement on the $300,000, even though they're still $500,000, but they're not getting taxed on the additional $200,000. So I think that's kind of a wash. And if Alderman Sistrum kind of squared me up on that, but I think I agree that this should be as broad as we can make it, because if you buy around and just look at properties, we think of Highway 12 as just being highly developed, but there's a number of holes in Highway 12 where there are some good opportunities to redevelop. There's opportunities along University Drive, there's opportunities along 182. So, I wouldn't want to limit this, because it's really just another tool we have, and it's not like we're giving up anything, because it's ad valorem tax that we don't have now. So if it can help spur a little bit of development, then I'm in favor of it.
Okay.
Alderman Sistrum could just address that, just the accounting for what might be a difference there. I appreciate that, and that's it for me, Mayor. I'm sure you have a hard time hearing me on the phone, but I do.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure I understand what it is you're asking. Alderman Sistrum, are you aware of what?
I think I know what he's
Okay,
asking.
all right, I'll let you.
The question is, would you be eligible to apply for an abatement based on an investment of up to $500,000 or more, or would it have to be an appraised value? And the way the language is written, Alderman Brooks, it says a minimum investment of 50% of the current appraised value, or $500,000, whichever is greater, is required for consideration of a tax abatement. So I think the person who requested the abatement would have to document what they spent, and it would have to meet that threshold. I do think, too, that as we get into this and determine that it's too stringent, not stringent enough, we can always come back and amend these amounts.
Alderman Brooks, does that better understand, or help give you a better understanding?
I thank you, Alderman Sistrum, and that's the way I understood it. I just want to make sure everybody else understood that yes, they document the $500,000 minimum investment, even though that when it actually hits the tax rolls, the property may or not have gone up and been reappraised by, some fraction of that, some percentage, some $300,000, whatever. But,
Okay.
We're basing it on the investment, so I'm fine with that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alderman Brooks. Alderman Beatty.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman Sistrum, are we going to continue to capture the tax that they're paying already?
It's a case-by-case situation, Alderman Beatty. Whoever is asking for this would come to the board with through a process, they would come to the board with a completed application. The board would make a decision if they want to participate at all or not at all, or something in the middle. But it is a case-by-case decision, and it's a board decision.
Wouldn't we need to standardize this? Just so that we don't have.
I think that you would need to, make a reasoned argument for anything that's sort of out of the norm, which is why I think at some point it would be good to develop a policy.
So, but right now, we don't have any policy. We don't know how we're going to do this.
No, we don't have a policy because we don't have an ordinance.
Well, but we're supposed to, normally ordinances, you develop them and you lay them out and you get them ready before you adopt them. But to my question on this thing, if I had a $500,000 property and I came to this board and said, I'm going to spend $500,000 more, and so theoretically now I got $1 million in my property, and when it comes tax time, what gets abated? $1 million or $500,000?
It depends on the will of the board.
But then that's material, because that is a net loss in tax revenue if we do that.
And $1 million generates roughly $2,375 in taxes at our current tax rate.
Right,
So
but
it's
this is not like a TIF.
Don't
sorry.
let her finish her.
So it's not, while there may be a small loss, it's not a material loss.
But in this case, it would be the 50% of that appraised value if it were appraised at $1 million after that. The difference between that and the TIF, tax increment financing, is the TIF bonds are issued, and the debt is based on the increment that you. In other words, the tax write-off or the tax abatement on a TIF is on the improvements. So if you've got a piece of property that's worth X and you build something improvement on it that's worth X, the tax abatement's or the TIF stuff is going to be based on the value of the improvements, not on that. You're still going to pay tax on that base amount, right?
You are, and frequently those TIF projects are on the tax rolls at such minimal amounts that you would not be giving up much in terms of giving up the property tax. The bigger difference with the TIF is that this does not involve sales tax, so you're not giving up any sales tax related to a project. This also is a much shorter time period than a TIF, which is typically going to run 15 years or so. So it's a way to participate in the property tax piece of it, but it keeps you out of having to give up the sales tax component.
And it's a 7-year.
7 or 10, depending.
But no, in all fairness now, the projects that develop, and some of them will be a restaurant that'll generate a lot in sales, but a lot of what drives the revenue that we derive downtown right now, particularly in business that have little small retail businesses, is the ad valorem tax component of that, not the retail component. I mean, of the two, it's the larger of the two pieces.
I don't know that I agree with that statement.
I mean, I'm pretty sure on that. But here's the other thing I wanted to mention. That we've got, because this kind of segues into the fact that we're going to be starting to work on a budget for too long, and it's going to take us. We're going to have struggles and challenges in trying to balance our budget. And we've got one TIF that we're servicing debt on. It's $150,000 a year, and tax increment financing is where the city issues bonds for a business on the increment or the increase, and the city issues bonds and services the debt based on either sales tax or property tax or both that's generated by that improvement on that property for X number of years. And Academy Sports has just kicked in. We're paying $150,000 a year on Academy Sports towards a TIF bond. Is it a 15-year bond?
Yeah.
15-year bond. When the Triangle Shopping Center kicks in, and it's a bigger thing. That's going to be a $400,000, probably $400,000 plus annual debt service towards. So I guess what I'm saying, and right now we're capturing that. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're capturing that sales tax and the ad valorem tax from the Triangle Shopping Center. Correct?
There is no ad valorem tax just yet,
No, but
because
sales tax.
They've not been on the rolls long enough to generate anything. So the value of the property tax is minimal there at the moment.
Right, but it would, if it rolled into a year, it would be, yes, we capture property
But
tax.
none of that has to do with tax abatement in this particular.
No, but I'm just saying is that when we look at what we're going to be facing from a budget standpoint, the money that enjoying from the Triangle Shopping Center will basically go away when those TIF bonds are issued, because we're going to spend most of the money, that revenue derived from that, like Academy Sports, in paying debt on bonds, and that money won't go into our general fund for us to pay policemen and firemen and pay streets and things like that. I think that gets lost sometimes in the thing. And the only thing about this is another tax abatement. It's one more way in which it's not, I'm not for tax abatements when we do that, but it's across the board. We keep chipping away at our revenue sources, and this is one more way of chipping away at that revenue source. And it's when it comes up budget time, we're going to be looking at tax increases and cutting the budget here and doing all kind of creative things, trying to balance a $6 million general fund budget and a $75 million all funds budget, and it's hard to do. And these are areas where we're going to lose revenue potentially. And I guess what I'm saying is that goes counter to what we want to do. We want to encourage the redevelopment of Main Street and the downtown area. At the same time, the city has to have tax revenue to operate on. We just like any other private entity. We have to have revenue to pay our bills from, and our two principal sources of revenue, City of Starkville, are sales tax and ad valorem taxes, property taxes. And if we cut into those too much, then one or the other, we have to go back, and look, where do we find the money from if we're going to pay our, balance our budget and pay our bills and things. But anyway, for instance, in our budget, we'll be looking at this year. We've got 5 fire stations. One of them's been closed indefinitely, from just a lack of funding. We got fire station number 5 out here across Highway 25 is not open right now, and it's not because we don't need a fire station open, and we didn't build it with the intention of staffing and having a 5th station in the City of Starkville. It's just we've had a hard time balancing our budget, even with increases in sales tax and ad valorem tax, because of the fact that Starkville is growing. So we're going to have those challenges, and an abatement of property taxes can be a good thing. At the same time, the other side, the downside of it is we're going to probably at some point in time lose some revenue, and particularly if we decide to grant a full tax, ad valorem tax, property tax abatement to businesses when they reach that $500,000 threshold and they do that investment. And I'd be for a tax abatement on the increase, on the increase in the value and stuff, but granting a full tax tax abatement to a business that's on the rolls paying taxes now because they made a capital investment, I don't know whether that's something we ought to do or not. Anyway, Mayor, I yield.
Thank you. All right. Alderman Sistrunk, anything further?
I would just say that this does not guarantee that all of the taxes are waived, that it would be an individual decision, and it could be the incremental share that's waived. There could be nothing waived. But when we talk about taxes being generated, to generate $100,000 in taxes, which doesn't get you much, it gets you 1% policeman or 1% fireman, would require a $20 million project. And so the kind of projects that will come to us under this will either be big projects that will benefit us in ways that are sales tax related or job creation related, or the speed to which it gets back onto the property tax rolls, as opposed to a TIF, which is a much more burdensome way for the city to help try to encourage development. But again, the ordinance does not guarantee any level of abatement. That's going to be a decision of the board. So.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Perkins.
No, ma'am.
Alderman Vaughn.
One question. Alderman, is this tax decrease tax break, how long will it last? I think somebody already answered that question.
It would depend. It would depend. It would be up to the board, but the maximum that's allowed under state statute is somewhere between 7 or 10 years, depending on, there are 2 statutes. One gives you 7 years, one gives you 10 years, and there's some minor differences between them. But But it's a relative, in terms of the life of the city, it's a relatively short abatement period. And again, it's up to the board. The board might say, we'll do it on the incremental value for 3 years. And so it's a case by case. We get to use our judgment and develop a method for how we go at this.
So we have an opportunity if we want to deny it if we want to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'm going to open it as a public hearing at this point in time. Anyone wishing to speak either for or against this item, now would be your opportunity to do so, either for or against. This is the tax abatement ordinance that had first public hearing at the last board meeting, and this is its second opportunity for a public hearing. Anyone? Seeing none, I'll close it as a public hearing. You have an opportunity now for consideration. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
I have a motion for approval from Alderman Sistrunk. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Rupp. If you would please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Carver.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Nay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, voted 6-1, the motion passes. All right, next item up is going to be consideration of an increase in the sanitation fees for trash and rubbish collection and related environmental services. This item I have brought forward. We have had, the finance department has done an analysis for us. Mr. Corbin did it. I believe Ms. Harden is familiar with the numbers there, but in essence, we have been operating on the slim edge over this past year. The only thing that's kept us in the black, if you will, pardon that accounting expression, is that we have sold some vehicles. And so we are now in need of a fee increase. This particular increase is based on what we have seen over the last 8 years, which was the last time we actually raised rates. We raised it $1, if you recall, for accounting for the garbage bags, which had gone up astronomically a couple of years ago. But that was dedicated to the garbage bag purchase. This is essentially an operational increase, then we haven't done it since 2015. That all was in your packet as well. So part of this is capital purchases. Part of it is the fact that gas and oil has gone up, personnel costs have gone up. So we have any number of things that we need to do to account for paying our bills, paying our sanitation bills. So that's the reason the 325 is I believe a moderate increase based on the fact that we don't like to raise our rates, and I don't anticipate us doing it again for at least for another couple of years or so. So I want to make sure we can buy the trucks we need, the equipment we need, pay for the PERS cost that's going to come rolling toward us next year. So that's the rationale for the 325. And so discussion. Alderman Carver.
What is the current rate and what will be the approved rate?
16. I paid mine this morning. 16.25 is the current rate. Okay. And the approved rate, 325. So, and if you count the additional $1, pay no attention to the landfill fee. That's escrowed, but that's when you see your bill, you see a landfill fee that's on there for $1.50. But the remainder of it is the dollar that was the garbage bag. So.
I mean, 600,000 in the hole this year? How much more?
No, not 600,000 in the hole. I can't. I have my paperwork in front of me. We were showing revenues of $3,300,000. Is that right? And do you have it, Ms. Harden? Thank you very much. I should have brought my paperwork with me. I apologize. So our budgeted expenses are $3,305,000, and our recurring revenues were $3,075,000. So we were projected a budget deficit with $650. But again, we had those sales, so that's what the sales of equipment.
Yeah, the projected was 600.
Yeah.
May I? Yeah. We had a balanced budget at zero projected for this year. The $650,000 is where we would potentially be at the end of next year if we continued with no changes whatsoever.
And part of our balance was because we had sold vehicles.
And so we are burning through the remainder of what fund balance they have in that department. So,
What was our ending fund balance like 2 years ago?
It's been steadily going down. Maybe 250,
yeah,
something like that.
400,000, and it's just gone down. We've just eaten it away.
Being a pay-for-service type structure, I don't understand as we add customers, I mean, it can't just be capital expenses and gas and oil. I mean, is it gone up that much that
Well, I
decrease
don't
of
know that we've
100,000?
added that many customers. Are you thinking about the customers in the annexed territory?
Well, I'm just saying, well, 100,000 a year, it sounds like it's coming off of the in-fund balance. Was that just from gas and oil and increased costs with COVID and
What?
things like that?
Personnel, repairs and maintenance to vehicles, the
Capital purchases,
capital purchases.
inflation,
Yeah.
so.
I mean, if you think back to what your household expenses were 8 years ago, and you've added nobody to your household. They've gotten a little older, but you've added nobody to your household. I dare say your expenses have gone up.
And then I'll have to ask my question, is there any other way?
Sure. You can reduce operations.
We can go to 1 day a week. We can certainly quit doing garbage bags.
I don't want to turn into Jackson. No, I'm just asking, that's a common sense question. Is there any other way?
Well,
Yeah.
and I think one of the
Cease
things that
operations,
we need to highlight is all the things that we do for this existing 1625, which is a lot more than many other cities do. You know, our rubbish service, we have a senior service where we go pick up, you know, individual pickups. We do all of our landscaping out of this budget. We do recycling out of this budget. There's some recycling grant, but we actually haven't received it this year. So we do any number of things out of this budget that are not necessarily what other cities do.
And then with the comparable cities, I guess we're going to follow. Go ahead. You interrupted me for
Well, I just have a
No,
comment on
just,
that
ahead.
when
we're
the
not,
time
well,
comes.
no. Go
You'll
ahead.
have a new updated graph. That's what I was going to say, because I got filled that question. Just a couple people, I guess, read the headlines today, and the questions were, where will we fall, and is that an accurate comp based on cities of our size? Not just, we don't want to include a city of 200,000 in that.
Well, we don't. We've got Meridian, West Point, South Haven, Starkville, Tupelo, Columbus, and Oxford that are
Where
in
would
this.
that'll put us right in the middle of the pack with this increase?
That would put us under Oxford, ahead of Columbus, ahead of Tupelo. South Haven, West Point, Meridian, all are one-time-a-week pickups. So I think we are, let's say, competitive, for want of a better expression. I think we're in the ballpark. We are not high, we're not low. We're using our funds the best we can with providing services that are commensurate to what the city wants to provide, which is that very special service. I mean, a lot of them farm it out. Columbus doesn't use their own sanitation department. I'll get to you. Doesn't use their own sanitation department. They have waste management. So, or Golden Triangle, I can't remember which. But, I think we provide superior service to anyone else who is farming it out.
And yeah, this is great, open discussion, transparency. And the other thing is, this may not be a question you even need to answer. How does once a week, like my family, we couldn't, my wife wouldn't allow me
I
to
think it's
live
kind
in
of
the
a
house.
rhetorical question, isn't it?
How does that work once a week? I mean, the customers, is it simple as that? Is you just get your trash picked up once a
Well,
week?
Alderman Carver, if you recall, we went to once a week when we were in the pandemic.
Yep.
How'd it work?
I just don't see the other. I'm a conservative by nature, and I feel these questions. Other than once a week pickup, I don't know what other option. That's a simple question with a lot of different theories. But I mean, is there another option besides a rate increase?
I don't think there is. If you want to continue the level of service that we currently have, which I think is something that I've never heard a complaint about our trash service and the superior service that we give to our residents. Every now and then you'll get someone who might not be happy about a can that got left in the driveway, for example. But other than that, I think our service is extraordinary.
Well, I end on this. One of the things that I kind of have to play in the middle on this, but with garbage bags, I wouldn't say we spoiled our. I'll never vote to take garbage bags away. For the record, that's something that I think people take for granted here, and then senior service is something that I think people take for granted here. You hear in conferences we meet a lot of other people, and y'all do that? Y'all go out and you take care of your senior citizens? Absolutely. So again, those are two things I think that's value-added quality of life issues that aren't a big deal, but if you're an elderly lady that can't get out of your house and you put your trash outside your door, and you know that that's disposed of properly, I mean, that's a quality of life issue, the biggest. So I don't know, I yield with that. I'm going to wait for more discussion.
All right, thank you. Alderman Rupp?
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the increase, but at the end of the day, you have to pay your bills, and costs have gone up everywhere for everybody, for everything. So I think Director Smiley does an incredible job with sanitation, and it get lots of compliments on it, which I think might be fairly unique. So I applaud him for the work he does. My constituents do not want to give up twice a week pickup.
Okay. All right,
So
thank you.
I would support this.
All right, Alderman Brooks?
I would like to second what my neighbor says there. If I was sitting in my chair, I hear nothing but good things about Mr. Smiley, and my constituents also don't want to give up twice a week charges. I've looked at the cost and personally the cost too. So I would have to be in favor of this, even though it's I know it's tough. It'd be tough on some people. I'm going to have to be in favor of it. Thanks, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Alderman Brooks. Alderman Beatty?
Mayor, this will bring our rate to $16.25 plus $3.50. Is that, or is this
What?
16?
I'm sorry.
We're at $16.25 right now.
Yes.
Should be plus $3.50.
Plus
right?
three, plus 325.
$3.25. So $19.50 would be the new rate, right?
Well,
Less the dollar. Or
less
dollar and a half.
$1.50.
So $21 total.
yes, total, and that includes that landfill fee, but.
Right, let's
yes,
just talk about the
19.
regular. All right. I want it to be noted that Tupelo and Oxford both, I don't think they have any add-on fees. That's what both of the, Tupelo uses waste management. Oxford does in-house like us. They both have curbside recycling for the amounts they're charging. We're going to go to 20, well, effectively be $21, and we're not going to have curbside recycling. Now, I will also mention, because we've mentioned Meridian, West Point, and South Haven, that there are three cities in the Jackson metropolitan area that size-wise, retail sales, things like that, would start pretty well, and that's Madison, Ridgeland, and Clinton, and they all, I think, contract with Waste Management. They all have 2-day per week pickup, and they also have curbside recycling, and I think all three of them have lower rates on a monthly basis than the city of Starkville. So I guess what I'm saying is, what we're going to go up to is going to put us in the upper middle, and we're still not going to have curbside recycling. And I would like for us to go back and look and see, if Tupelo can provide curbside recycling twice a week, garbage pickup for $17.50. Oxford's higher than us, but they'll only be $1 higher than us. And three cities down in the metropolitan area, around the metropolitan area of Jackson, Mississippi, have garbage rates that are lower than ours, and they have 2 time per week service plus curbside recycling. I'd like for us to at least go back and revisit and look and see why we can't operate our department, or we couldn't be able to offer something, some way in the area of curbside recycling for the amount of money we're about to charge people as an additional fee. And I know this closes the gap in a budget, in a budget that's being operated right now in deficit. At the same time, if it's working in 4 or 5 other places and they can do that, certainly would be something that I think that we can do as well as they can. So I yield.
All right, thank you. Now, Alderman Sistrom.
I think I hear Alderman Beatty suggesting that we outsource our sanitation services, because that seems to be the common link there among those places that have lower rates. But the other thing what I wanted to point out was that the rates that are up there for comparable cities, Columbus has just done an RFP for their sanitation services, and they do outsource their services. And all of the bids that came back to the city of Columbus were higher than what they are currently charging. So if they are probably going to find themselves in the same position as we are in terms of increasing rates. The other thing I'd like to point out is that we talk about the $1.50 for the landfill, but that is not available to the sanitation department for their expenditures. That's being escrowed. It is for landfill remediation, and we don't need to include it in our fees when we're trying to compare services between the city of Starkville and other areas, because I I don't know that any of those cities have that same situation that they're dealing with. So we need to remember that we will be paying $19.50 if we adopt this tonight, and we are escrowing $1.50 for landfill remediation.
Thank you, ma'am. Vice Mayor.
Yes, ma'am, Mayor, thank you for the recognition. Very briefly, Honorable Mayor, and to my distinguished colleagues, I have studied this matter very closely. I have studied the documentation that reveals the expenditures and the income. Let me first say that through the years, there have been a lot of discussion about 1 day a week versus 2 days, and 2 days always prevail. And it is my opinion that the 2 days certainly promote the best interest, health, safety, and welfare of our residents in our city. As to a follow-up to the Honorable Budget Chair's comments with regard to comments given tonight by the gentleman from 5, I am in full support of our residential garbage being continuously collected and picked up by our staff in the Sanitation Environmental Services Department. Mr. Christopher Smiley and his staff are doing a very outstanding job. He's showing and has shown and is continuously showing very great leadership with that department. And it is very great when we have our own employees who serve under the day-to-day authority of our mayor and ultimately the board with regard to their assignments and duties and responsibilities. So it is of great importance and benefit to our city for our city to retain authority and control and complete jurisdiction over the garbage pickup per day. And I think we should stay with the twice a week pickup. As to the matter, Honorable Mayor, of recycling, recycling is certainly not going unnoticed. It is having an impact on the expenditures from our city funds with the drop-off recycling. And our Sanitation Environmental Services Department do a lot of assignments, including but not limited to the pickup of the debris that is placed at the roadway, the senior citizens pickup, the Sanitation Environmental Services, as I said, have the 2 day a week pickup, the litter control, the beautification, and all of those particular assignments, including the street sweeper. And I noticed that there is an agenda item that calls for a small garbage truck in that budget for another street sweeper. The 2007 sweeper has been creeping along and doing quite well, but we don't know what may be the continuous lifespan of it. So it's hard to cut anything after a very close analysis, in my opinion. And I don't think that the 2 day a week item is up for any successful discussion to minimize that to a lower number. And finally, Mayor, I think that it's just no other place or avenue to delete anything that would lower this particular proposed rate increase. And certainly our rates are very competitive with Tupelo, and Tupelo rates have been higher than ours. And I think Tupelo probably, to my recollection, services are a lot less than what we provide. So we provide a lot of services for this amount. And of course, and I certainly hate to see the rates go up from $16.25 per month. And of course, the actual total amount is $17.75, but as on budget share say, it's $16.25. But everything else is continuously going up, and the services have to be paid for, and the money has to come from somewhere. And this amount is being recommended by our Honorable Mayor, the Honorable Budget Chair, and our Director of Sanitation Environmental Services. So I'm not going to second guess them, and they have done a great job in putting this information, and I'm going to give a deference to their recommendation, Mayor, and I'm going to support it. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Alderman Vaughn.
Thank you, Mayor. I think our citizen doesn't realize how much service that we give them through sanitation. I'm out all the time. I sees a lot. And one thing I can say, when the weekend come, we don't have no debris on the side of the road. We don't have trash on the side of the road, no garbage on the side of the road. And you get free garbage bags. And there's a lot of things that plays into this that our citizens doesn't really see. To Smiley and his group, I mean, they does a tremendous job keeping this city clean, looking pretty. And when I go to other places, I'm always looking, seeing what it look like, And then you see a lot of things. You don't even see dead animals in the street in Starkville. You don't, and that's a good thing when you don't see dead animals in the street in Starkville. But you go to a place, you see a lot of things that not comparable to Starkville, and that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good about our sanitation department when I do see that. And I think our sanitation guard is doing a great job and continue to do a great job. And hey, I have no problem with it. I mean, you got to pay for service. Like Alderman Ruff said, you got to pay for service. Everything going on. And we're running some good service in the city of Starkville.
Thank you, Alderman Vaughn. All right. Alderman Beatty.
Thank you. I'm not advocating that we go to commercial pickup. I was just stating a fact of who was doing this. And it will be, in regards to the sanitation, the landfill fee, it's going to be $21 when it goes on. Now, in Oxford, Mississippi, they have a $22 per month fee. $4 of that is for curbside recycling. I talked to their sanitation director. $4 of their environmental services director, excuse me. $4 of that $22 covers the cost of curbside recycling. So they're picking up their garbage twice a week in-house. There's no waste management. It's just like here. It's in-house. $18. So I guess what I'm saying is that somewhere between, in that gap, that $3.50, something like that, maybe it's $4 or something. I would love for us to consider curbside some way to re-enter the curbside recycling because our sister Southeastern Conference institution host city is doing it. I don't think there's any reason why they should be better at what they're doing than we are. And I don't think they are. Mr. Smiley does a fantastic job with our sanitation department. But at the same time, I think it's something we ought to look at. And this is a significant increase, and we need it, like Alderman Rupp said. But at the same time, I still want that other to be on the table, and I want us to look for a way, ultimately, to bring back curbside recycling. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Seeing no further discussion, I entertain a motion. I'm sorry, Alderman Sistrom? Alderman Vaughn?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a motion? All right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Alderman Rupp. If you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Carver.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Is that a yay?
Yes.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrom.
Yay.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, thank you, everyone. It is unanimous. We appreciate that. Next item on the agenda is consideration and acceptance of a low bid for the 2023 street improvement project from APAC Contracting in the amount of $4,414,214.50 and authorizing the mayor to execute. So, Mr. Burnett, if you will provide us a brief overview, and also remember that this is on our website currently. I know Mr. Clements put it up there, I believe, yesterday. So it is available to any and all. So, Mr. Burnett.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board, does anybody need a hard copy before I start?
Yes.
Yes.
This could be glasses.
It's got that swap on there.
Yes.
Mayor, before we get started,
Alderman Beatty.
please, can you put up a TV screen like those right here? I mean, this thing's hard to read. Those things are crystal clear, and this thing is just fuzzy. I mean, compared to those other two. Could we put up?
We can see what the
Let's see
budget
what the
allows.
cost for that.
I don't know that it will get.
A screen of that size would, because that's bigger, but it's fuzzier and stuff. And, I always try to look at those that further in the room.
Fair.
I don't want to get up and be disruptive if I got
Mr.
up.
Mr. Clements is making it larger for you, so,
But I mean,
there
just
you go.
look at possibility.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so what you have in front of you is the 2023 Street Improvement Project street listing. This is our yearly overlay and striping project we do annually. You'll notice it's quite a bit more than we have historically spent per year. The reason for that is with the advent of the Mississippi use tax, the board saw fit to bond against the use tax in order to overlay as many streets as possible. It's really beneficial in two ways. One, you get a cost savings to scale. The bigger the project, the better the price typically. And then secondly, if you can overlay streets before they can completely fail, you tend to get a much better life out of the street. So you are able to extend the life by overlay before it's in disrepair. So the way we arrived at this list, specifically the street listing, end of 2021, the board approved a 5-year capital improvement plan of streets. And then as 22 rolled around, we had the use tax taking off, and the board bonded against the use tax. And so what we decided to do was take all of the minor arterials and collectors out of that list and move them to the top of the priority list. Those are the roadways that are the highest classification we maintain, impact the highest number of users, et cetera. So that's how we arrived at that listing. And then we broke that list into 2 phases. The first phase were streets that were ready to overlay today. The second phase were streets that had utility issues or nearby projects such as the Main Street project. Okay. So if you look down through this list here, you see the minor arterial roads on the top. You come on down to the collector roads, and for each road we have the termini, the work type, as well as the projected cost. Okay, so this year, 2023, is the listing of minor arterials that have no known utility issues. Okay. If you come on down a little bit further, Joel, we have local roads at the bottom. These are your neighborhood subdivision type streets. That listing came from the original 5-year priority. We just kept tracking along with whatever that priority list was. Okay. And then at the very bottom, we have a line item for utility patching. This is for the Main Street water sewer replacement project that the board just approved a low bid for. By replacing the asphalt patching from that project to this project, we saved a few $100,000 for utilities. So Mr. Kemp's team will pay for that and save some money while doing so. So in short, that is the list of streets we're doing. They were, the low bid was less than 1% off of the budget estimate, which I have to give, recognition to Stephen Kaplan in my office for a good set of plans, which solicited those. So we're proud of the bids we got. We're excited to start. The contractor has told me today that they hope to start the first week of May. So that's the tentative plan. Any questions the board has, I'm happy to jump in.
Mayor, may we recognize?
Vice Mayor?
Just want to say very briefly, thank you for your great work, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Burnett. Just want to say, Mayor, with APAC being the lowest and best bidder, they did a lot of our work in the mains when Mr. Weld was the engineer, and they did a really good job. And actually, nothing against Falcon, but I was glad to see APAC have that highest, best bid. It brought some competition back into that area of work that we need, and plus they did a very good quality job. And I know Mr. Webb was very pleased with them. And not to say that Falcon's been doing a great job, but just glad to see APAC to get back into our environment and do this level of work. So great work. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And it was lowest and best bid.
The lowest and best bid. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
No, you said highest. I want to make
I'm
sure we're
sorry,
clear.
I'm sorry. Lowest and best bid.
Lowest and best bid,
Right,
yes,
that's
sir.
right.
All
Lowest and
right,
best
all
bid.
right. I'm going to start down here. Alderman Carver, anything from you, sir? Alderman Rupp?
No, ma'am.
Alderman Beatty? I'm sorry, Alderman Brooks. My apologies. Alderman Brooks?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Okay. Alderman Beatty?
Mr. Burnett, I know this didn't include, but is there any way that they could give us an alternate bid with crushed limestone?
I don't know that we could do it for this project since it's been bid, but it's certainly something that we have a lot of asphalt in the coming years, whether it be Main Street, Field Project, or the 24 listing, whatever. I think that's something we can
So
definitely.
they bid whatever lowest, and then
Yes, sir.
this, and then crushed limestone was off.
Sure, I can inquire about that. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Alderman Sistrum?
And you said because of the volume that we're doing this year, you think we have an increased competition and better prices than if we were doing a lesser number of roads?
I think so. We had a bid from a client we've never had one from, and other things such as getting the plans out of the door earlier, a really good set of plans, all those things we tried to do to get the best price possible. Yes, ma'am.
Good job.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, anything
Nothing
further?
further.
All right, Alderman Vaughn?
No, ma'am.
All right, I do want to make a comment that we are still hopeful that we will get engaged with the county. They had said that they might share with us. Supervisor Trainer had said he potentially might be able to share some of the roads that are in his district with us. So we remain hopeful that that might mitigate some of this, but as it stands right now, we are prepared to move forward with this.
Mayor, one thing you do want to add about the partnership with the county, we do want to commend Honorable Supervisor from District 3, Supervisor Howard, who had shown great leadership in partnering with us for Inca and LaFleur, and he is paying one half of that, the cost of those two streets. So we do want to commend him, and hopefully we will get Supervisor Train on board.
Yes, it was very, very nice of Supervisor Howard to do so, and Supervisor Trainer is looking at that as a possibility to help with areas in his district. So
And that is denoted on the sheet that you
we
have.
remain hopeful for that, so thank you. All right, with that in mind, we still need
Move
a motion.
approval.
And I have a motion from Alderman Sistrunk. Do I have a second?
Second. Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, I heard from both ends. Alderman, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Perkins, was that you?
Yes, ma'am, Mayor,
All
thank
right,
you.
All right. All right. Would you answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name?
Alderman Carver.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay?
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
All right, that is unanimous, and we will look forward to fresh asphalt. Next item is claim docket. Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion for claim docket?
Move approval.
I have a motion from Alderman Sistrunk. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Rupp. If you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Carver.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp.
Yay.
Alderman Brooks.
Yay.
Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay?
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Nay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Nay.
All right, by a vote of 5-2, motion carries. And that takes us through our regular agenda items. We will next, I need a call for a determination or a motion for a closed determination session to determine the need for an executive session. Do I
So
have a
moved.
motion? A motion from Alderman Sistrunk. Do I have a second? Please. Second. Thank you, Alderman Beatty. If you would, please answer yea or nay as the city clerk calls your name.
Alderman Carver.
Yay.
Alderman Rupp. Alderman Brooks. Alderman Beatty.
Yay.
Alderman Sistrunk.
Yay?
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
All right, it is unanimous. If you would, please clear the room. We're going to go into a closed determination session to determine the need for an executive session. And we will make a call for the session depending on the board's interest. that it? Press is not coming in? Okay. The board has voted to go into executive session to get an update on pending legal matters and to take up potential litigation. So if you would, please clear the room. And Mr. Kemp, if you stay close. In fact, why don't we go ahead and take that up first? to pursue litigation in an unspecified matter at this point. All right, I need a motion to, well, no, let me call the work session. In accordance with the notice required under Mississippi Code 254113, board will have a work session on Friday, the 28th of April, 2023 at 11 a.m. Meeting will be held at City Hall, second floor conference room located at 110 West Main. Notice should be provided within 1 hour of this meeting by posting such notice at City Hall, be made a part of the minutes, and it will be an open public meeting. The City of Starkville public and press are invited to attend. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
They move.
I have a motion from Alderman Crawford. Do I have a second from Alderman Vaughn? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Thank you.